You will now learn how to create a model, migrate the database where it creates a table, more routes, action and views, and hopefully no errors. Take a look at the flowchart again. Previously you learned about controllers, action and views and routes to output content to the screen via the form you created, but nothing was saved. Now we will follow more or less the pink arrows. You will now learn how to create the model and run the migration so you can create a database or a table in the database that you can store the information. Let's get started. You create a model by typing Rails, generate model, the name of the model, article. Type title, string, space, text, text. The title and text are called attributes. They each has a type, which are string and text respectively. Note that article is singular. All models must have a singular name. Go to the DB folder or hit enter first to run the model. Then go to the DB folder. Here we now have a subfolder called migration. Inside this folder is the file created by the model. This is a database migration file. Contained in this file are the two attributes title and text. Go to the app folder and model folder. Here you now have the newly created models file named article.rb. And as you see here we have a class named article. Go back to the terminal. Type Rails space db:/migrate. This command will run the migration and create a table in the database with two columns for our attributes. Also, it will create two timestamp fields for us to be able to create and update our blog input. Again, go to the text editor and the DB folder. There is now a new file called schema.rb in here. This file is basically contain the blueprint of how our database is organized. Remarkably enough, Ruby on Rails can be run without it, but it's not recommended. Go back to the terminal and let's commit what we just did. Type git status, then git space add space dot. Git commit -m, single quotation, and let's type what we created. Let's type generated. To model, article, and then we saved, then we migrated to the database. Okay, it's a little bit misspelled here. I'm a foreigner, but this works. Okay, git status, on branch, nothing to commit. Clear the window. You will now learn how to save the data in your controller. So go to the articles controller. We will here modify the create action so we can use the article model to save data in the database. Since we now allow information to be stored in our database via title and text input, we also open up our application for malicious use. To protect against this, we access these parameters inside a private method. Type private, a little misspelled there, private. Then define an action called article_params. So type def article_param params. Type params dot require require parenthesis colon article dot outside the parenthesis permit parenthesis type colon title comma colon text. This requires the article to permit the title and text parameters. And then type end. Go back to the create action and comment it out the previous code. We will now create what's called an instance variable that will be used in other places in our blog application to access the parameters. Type an @ sign, article equals, type article with capital A, dot new, parenthesis, and inside here we want going to type article underscore params. In this way we will be able to call the parameters within the private method we created. Go back to the terminal and type rake routes. Remember that we need both an action and a view template to display to the screen. Routes shows us that we need to use the show action to the get input from the database. Can you find the show action? There it is. And it corresponds to the verb get. Go back to the articles controller. Just as we created a new and a create action, we will now create an action named show. So type def show show and end, and in here we will again type the instance variable article, so @ sign article equals article with capital A dot find parenthesis, inside parenthesis type params square brackets colon ID. This tells us that we want to find an article with a specific ID. The ID number is generated automatically and incremented sequentially for each new article. Go to the Views Articles folder and create a new file named show.html.erb. So type show.html.erb to create our new template named show. Okay, here we will put in some HTML code. We will also generate the output from our article. Let's give it a paragraph tag, and we're also going to give it put in some strong tags here with a title, just to put a nice title what we go to output. Okay, now we will embed the Ruby syntax again and access our instance variable. Type @article.title to access the title parameter. Close the Ruby syntax, and let's move down the closing paragraph tag. And I'm going to indent here. Okay. We repeat the same format to access the text parameter. Okay. So again, let's emphasize our title to this section, which we call text. And again, type the embedded Ruby syntax, and again add article.text this time. You might have figured it out already, because the text is now the parameter we want to access. Okay. Go back to the articles controller. There is something missing in the create action. First, we need to save our input. You do so by typing @article.save. Second, the input, when it's saved to the database, we need to redirect it to an appropriate page. We do so by typing redirect _to and then @article. This will redirect it to the show page and display the article we just created. Now we need to restart the server since we have modified our database. So type Control-C and then restart it by typing Rails S. Before we typed Rails server, but Rails S does the job as well. Okay, now we're up and running again. Go to the browser window and refresh the browser window. Fill out the form with some words and submit. If all goes well, we see the output. So just put in any text. Will this work? And then save the article. And voila, we have the title of the title, said last time. And the number here is the ID of the article. Okay, so we are moving quite a bit along here. Let's next time we're going to create an index for all our work, but let's git commit first. So git status to remind us what we have done. Type git add space dot and then git commit -m single quotation and write up what we did. We added show and create actions. And templates to display our output, or our blog output, I would say. Or maybe our input, actually. We inputted and then outputted. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, let's do git status. On branch master, nothing to commit. Clear? Alright.